right, it's Jonathan again, coming at you with another quick review. This time we're looking at Groo in the Wild. Sergio Aragonés, Mark Evanier are the primaries on this one. Of course, Groo has been a long time character. As far as I know, if not all, published by Dark Horse Comics. And it's just kind of in the style of classic cartoons, you might see in a Sunday newspaper strip. Groo, if you're not familiar, is kind of a riff on Conan the Barbarian. Groo is extremely unintelligent, but his dog companion, Roberto, is actually quite intelligent. And you'll see his thought bubbles, and they'll be, very thoughtful and oftentimes, kind of give what a regular person might think or say as kind of a juxtaposition with Groo and his, lack of a better term, stupidity. But Groo is kind of a lovable guy. And I thought this was a very good story in whole, in the wild. Basically, Groo's just trying to find something to eat. And he's traveling around in this particular kingdom that he hasn't visited in a while. And the kingdom has changed. And most of the changes have been in the fact that the local wildlife and the local environment have been basically ruined by this king. Very greedy king who wants to take everything valuable for himself. And so he overtaxes the land and overhunting and fishing and all that stuff. Obviously, this is a very overt analogy for humans in the earth today and how they're mistreating the earth. And, there's definitely an environmental slant. There's a message here, but, it doesn't, the book doesn't lose its fun of Groo, where Groo has no idea how much people fear him and, the way that he interacts with other characters in the story is quite humorous. And of course, he gets into all sorts of mischief, oftentimes without him actually intending to do so. So that is kind of the brief synopsis of the story. Of course, in the end, Groo is able to make changes to the kingdom. The evil king is ousted. Spoiler alert. But this book's been out for a little while, and honestly, the story is not super deep. It's really it's sending a message, but it's also just silly fun with Groo. And Sergio's art, of course, shines. He has a very unique style. It's reminiscent, again, of kind of that Sunday morning cartoons that you get in the strips every Sunday. Used to read a lot of those as a kid, and so this kind of harkens back to that. Very simple art in some ways, but also very intricate. And that's one of the things I love about the art in this. There'll be certain panels, like there's a couple, I think in the story, there's maybe in each book in this 4-issue miniseries has either a 1 or 2 page splash, and just the amount of detail in here is extraordinary. All the things that are going on. It kind of reminds me a little bit of a Richard Scarry book. There's just so much detail. It's simple art to an extent, but it's also very detailed. There's a lot of intricacies, and you'll see, if you look at the art multiple times, you'll pick out new things each time you look at it. So it's very, very cool, very fun. Honestly, there's not much else to say about Groo. If you, like I said, if you enjoyed something that's just kind of fun, silly, not too deep. Like I said, this book did have a bit of a message, and which is fine, but it doesn't take away from what makes Groo. So that's the brief review for Sergio Aragonés' Groo in the Wild. Kind of a summary of the whole story. Again, it's a 4-issue miniseries, just wrapped up a couple of weeks ago. So I wanted to make sure to give my thoughts on it. Obviously you can pick up the floppies, or I'm sure there'll be a trade paperback sooner than later. So with that, I've been Jonathan Towery, and this has been Comic Talk Cafe.